Hello, my name is Amy. Today I'm presenting you Food Solution, Electricity-Free Fridges, Inventions, and Impacts. In hot climates, fruits and vegetables can go very bad very fast. In places like rural Nigeria, where it's very hot and very poor, electricity is not readily accessible. This makes food even harder to preserve, and this creates a lot of waste and inefficiency. People living in these places are facing food shortage because they are not able to keep food fresh, and they also have frequent instances of food-related disease. And for the people who trade food, their profits are hurt because they have to rush to sell their food, and they cannot sell their food on demand nor command higher prices. This also makes the transportation very inefficient because mostly girls have to transport the food to the market for sale, and their time are wasted. Rather than attending school, they will be selling produce for their family. The solution to these problems are shown on the right side. The solution is the pot-in-pot preservation cooling system. It is basically a small earthenware pot that is placed inside of a bigger one, and the space in between the two pots are filled with moist sand, and then the inner pot is filled with the food and the vegetables and the medicine that they need to preserve. In addition to it being electricity free, it is also relatively easy to make. First, they just create a bowl-shaped mold and then it's left to dry in the sun. And then clay rims are added and then removed, and then pots are left to dry. And once the ceramics pots have been fired, you can assemble them just by placing the smaller one instead of the larger one. This method is not only easy, convenient, it's also very cheap, and all the materials are accessible. They can even use seawater to keep the sand moist as long as they apply a impermeable layer in the pot. The science of the pot is shown in this diagram. Basically, the evaporation of the water causes the heat to be transferred from the inner to the outer pot. As long as there is a constant flow of cool and dry air, the inner pot can achieve a super low temperature as 4.5 Celsius or 40 Fahrenheit. And in this temperature, bacteria that causes the food spoilage have significantly slowed growth. About the inventor, Mohammed Ba was originated from rural area of northern Nigeria, and he developed this electricity-free refrigerator in the 1990s, and he was recognized in the 2000s, and he used his $75,000 cash reward, to make the invention readily available throughout his region. He was from a family of pot makers, and he really connected with the unemployed local workforce, and he hired also pot makers, and together they mass produced the first batch of pots and pots that benefited many. From different online sources, the prices of the pots ranges from 30 cents to $5. He also was very active in devising educational campaign for help for the village life and to help the illiterate population. Though Muhammad Abba invented these jars, evaporating cooling was used way back as old as in 2500 BC in Egypt. On the left, there are frescoes showing the slaves fanning water jar, which implies that they're increasing airflow around the porous jar and aiding evaporation, and they're cooling whatever is inside. Many earthenware pots were also discovered in the Indus Valley Civilization, probably originating from 3000 BC, and they were used for storing for cooling water. And in the Indian subcontinent, we see that there are also different earth and water pots that are used to cool water, and those pictures are from today. For the picture on the left, the guy is drinking out of a bajito. It is from Spain, and it's a porous clay container that's used to keep and to cool water. And they have been used for centuries there, and they are still very popular today. They are favored by low Mediterranean climate, and the cooling effect is known as the Batijo effect. In the 1890s, gold miners in Australia developed what is called the Coolgardie safe, which is shown on the right, and it's based on the same principle. The safe used the property of water when it's evaporating as well. This shows that humans have been using natural properties to cool fruits, vegetables, water for a long time. A more recent invention is by Emily Cummings, and she built on Abba's invention, and she made a refrigerator with two metallic cylinders, one inside the other, just like the pots, and it can be made from local material such as sand and wood that is packed in between the layers, and after it's soaked with water. So when the fridge is placed in a warm environment, like the one in Nigeria, the sun's energy will cause the outer parts of the fridge to quote unquote sweat, and then the heat energy will be transferred away from the inside to the outside. And this design is ideal for the developing world because it also does not require electricity and it can be built using spare pieces, such as spare car parts and household materials. And unlike previous coolers, this device is more hygienic because the water does not come in contact with the product. Another invention is the MIDI-cool fridge. It is named the coolest gadgets, and it's developed by Mansak Parapati, and it is an evaporative fridge that has a really nice appearance, and it can be used in ordinary household. We have seen there are other evaporative fridges, but there are interesting features on this one, like the see-through plastic door. How it works is the water from the upper chambers drips down the side, and as it comes down, the water gets evaporated, and it takes the heat from the inside to the outside, and it leaves the chambers cool. The upper chamber can be also used to store water, and there's a clay lid on the top, and a small faucet tap is at the front lower end of the chamber, so you can also use it to get tap water. And in the lower chamber, two shelves are used to store the food material. The first shelf is suggested for storing vegetables and fruit, and the second shelf can be used for storing milk. This fridge can be used in modern household, but it's more pricey than the other two inventions. It is priced at $50. All of these inventions utilize the evaporation properties. And from this, we see that in areas there's a shortage of electricity where the climate is very bad for storing food, we can use those weather for this kind of technology, and we can keep food fresh. With these inventions, food-related disease can be decreased. Profits from food sales for sellers can increase as they won't have to rush to sell their food, and they can command higher prices. It also increases opportunities for women because with these electricity-free fridges, women can sell food from their homes and they don't have to depend on their husband as much. And also, girls, instead of going to the market to sell so frequently, they can go to school more and they can go to market once a week instead of every day. It also increases rural employment opportunities. Farmers can support themselves better, so they don't have to move to the cities. And the creation of the pots, making the pots, generates job opportunities. Health-wise, it increased diet variety because more food is available for longer into the year. It also gives people the abilities to store vaccines and medicine that would otherwise be unavailable. Overall, this is a great solution for the lack of electricity. But I think in the future, we can improve on this technology to use it to conserve energy. Thank you for listening.